Hey everybody, Myles here, one of the pastors at Shady Grove for our weekly update. We have some great opportunities coming up. First, we have our Christmas Eve schedule. We'll have a family worship service that morning at 10:30 and then a candlelight service at 5 o'clock that evening. Now, our students will be going to follow from December 28th through the 31st, and so we ought to be praying for a safe trip and a mighty move of God there. And thank you so much to those of you who have supported our fundraising efforts. We have a new discipleship group starting, The Story of God. If you've ever been overwhelmed by trying to read the Bible, this 8-week video and workbook study is a way to have an overview of the story of God and also how our story fits into His. It'll be traveling chronologically from Genesis through Revelation, and this study will remove the intimidation factor and allow participants to discover the story of Jesus on every page of the Bible. It'll be starting January the 14th on Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. For more information, you can contact Pastor Denise or register by texting God's Story at 336-525-5870. Also coming up in January, starting the week of January the 7th, we have our 21 days of prayer. And that will go along with our next sermon series called Pray First. And we'll meet each weekday morning at 6 a.m. I know it seems crazy, but we want to see God do some crazy things in 2024. So we're going to meet every weekday morning at 6 a.m. and then on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. for an hour of prayer. Now, let's get into our devotional for this week. So my favorite Christmas song by far is the song, "O Holy Night." You know, there are many songs written about the birth of Jesus, yet this one always impacts me in a way none of the others do. And it's really because of just a couple lines in the first verse. It says, "Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared, and the soul felt its worth." Even without diving into the incredible theology of this statement, it is a beautiful phrase. It is so well written. But then when we reflect on what the songwriter is really saying, it is absolutely amazing. He says, "Long lay the world in sin and error pining." So in other words, the world is all kinds of messed up, and it has been for a really long time. Now, pining is a word we don't really use all that often, but maybe we should start using it again. It just means to suffer a mental and physical decline, especially because of a broken heart. It conveys this image of longing for the return of something or someone. And this line of the song shows that the hopeless desperation that is in the world. You might think it's bad now, and that may be true. It may, in fact, be bad now, but our world has always been in trouble. Well, maybe not always. Before Genesis 3 and the fall of man, everything was right. There was peace and there was joy. Nothing was wrong, but then the fall happened, and it sent all of creation into a tailspin. In fact, in Romans chapter 8, the Apostle Paul spoke of how all of creation was moaning and groaning because of this fall. The world was and is a pitiful place. But that is not where the story ends, and neither is it the conclusion of the song. This song says everything was falling apart until He appeared. Jesus, the promised one from God, the Messiah, the one who would come and make everything right, arrived on the earth in a town called Bethlehem, and according to what you would expect, had one of the most unexciting, uneventful, welcoming ceremonies you could imagine. He was born amongst animals and laid in a feeding trough for a bed. It was the complete opposite of what everyone expected. But that is not the end of the story either. Because the last phrase in this part of O Holy Night says, "And the soul felt its worth." See, Jesus is God's exclamation point on how much you matter to Him. When Jesus was born, that was God saying, "You matter to me. You are worth dying for. You are worth saving." Eventually, this little baby would grow up and die, but not just die, he would be raised from the dead so that you would know and would always know just how much you matter to God. That's what Christmas is all about. And that's why I love the song, "O Holy Night." Hey, thanks so much for listening. We will see you Sunday. Have a great rest of your week.